There we go. We are live. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Mercy, the Game Master at HereThereBeMonsters, and we're back with another Working Wednesday Power Hour. We've got 30 minutes on the clock. We'll take a 5-minute break, and then 30 more minutes of work, and then we're out of here. The goal is to have a quick, fairly focused session to get something done. Even if you're not a DM or GM, we'd love to have you join us. And of course, if you are, good luck on getting your project done. Thank you, Chris, for being first in chat. Kale, good to see you. How's your day going? So our to-do list for the day is a little bit shorter because I've been overcommitting during the power hours recently. So we'll see.
YouTube stream is now live.
It is indeed. Thank you, Lumia. So first things first, we need to give out XP for last session. I didn't realize I hadn't done that yet, but that's because we didn't stream last Wednesday because we were taking a couple of streams off. So assign XP, design the quest rewards for the quest that our party completed during session 11, and or at least kind of the part of the quest. I'll leave it spoiler free, but if you watched, then you get what I'm talking about. And a couple of quick housekeeping things, like making sure that all the players have tracked their rations and whatnot, because that's going to matter for the next session. I am expecting to get all that done in the first half here. After the break, we're going to design our next gnomish contraption. And then if we've got a little bit of extra time, we might start work on our next military building in Tailspire near the end. But that one's not on the to-do list because I want to make sure that we get the to-do list done first. I'm glad it's going good. All right, Krez, sounds good. Also, a couple quick reminders. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't done so yet. It's a great, easy, free way to help out our channel and our community. And also, if you are watching, well, I guess live or VOD, don't forget to change your chat from top chat to live chat, so that way you see things in roughly the order that I'm responding to them. With that, D&D XP tracker. Excuse me. Oh, Babu, is that book in the way? I'm sorry. All right, so first things first, of course, we have session XP. I think that was a good session. I think there was some good role playing. I don't know if there was necessarily a ton that was high stakes from a across the board standpoint. There were a few player decisions and some role playing and skill checks and whatnot that happened that I think will merit a little bit of bonus individual XP. But you know, in kind of the roller coaster that is the pacing of D&D, this one was a little bit more of a recovery episode, a little bit more role playing heavy, a little bit more kind of supplementary in that way. So I think we'll use our default session XP. I don't think that needs to be modified. And then, of course, I won't say why or what they were doing, but our big standout role play and kind of high tension moment was with Bahir and Bahir and Rubato. But I want to make sure that we're not skipping over anything else accidentally. Happy to take suggestions in the chat if anybody else thinks of anything as well. I want to, when thinking about how much XP to give for that interaction, I want to think about two things. One is how high the stakes were, essentially, and then two is kind of like how much they succeeded. Something that I hadn't really thought about is in my XP rubric, we had... Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say there was something that we hadn't addressed, but we actually had. There is a separate section for roleplay. So I think what we want to do is maybe change the term and move that from modifiers and just call that non-combat encounters. So what are you up to with your day there, Kale? Paste those in. Slide it over. Non-combat encounters / roleplay. There we go. Now it's its own section. Just eating at the moment. Very nice. I just finished my lunch here about 45 minutes ago myself. Also, I am planning on doing a Dota or two after this, if you have any interest there. I think we can call that that non-combat encounter that we had a difficult encounter. I think that's fitting because the starting attitude was as difficult as it could have been. We'll say... I'm going to start calling them... I'm going to say difficult and... do I need to abbreviate it or do I have room? We can fit difficult non-combat encounter. Okay. I wish I would have thought of differentiating those in our XP tracker previously, but I just thought of it. And our characters had what I would call a moderate success at our difficult non-combat encounter. And some good role-playing to boot that went along with those dice rolls. So I think I'm pretty confident calling that difficult and giving the appropriate XP for that difficulty level. What else did we have? It's possible. Oh, yeah. Also news. Dang it. I knew there was one other thing on news. It's a full week later than I'd intended, but the edits and the filtering are done for the session 11 video, and it's actually exporting on the other computer, the one that's over there, literally right now. So it will get uploaded tonight, and it will be live on YouTube tomorrow morning. I do apologize about the lateness. I tried to do some new things to master the audio, and they took way longer than I'd anticipated, hours longer than I'd anticipated, and then I got kind of frustrated with it, and then it became a kind of an anxiety avoidance thing for a couple of days, and yeah, it's like a week later than I wanted. But it is done now. The edits and touch-ups are done. It is exporting. Like I said, it will be live on YouTube in the morning. Hello there, Michael. How you doing? I was just sitting here brainstorming. We had, the one very obvious non-combat encounter near the end of the session that I think warranted a specific assignment of XP. Is there anything else that involved Rubato and Bahir? Is there anything else that jumps out at anybody as being something that we need to specifically note for like bonus XP? Spoiler free, ideally, like be kind of vague. You got the token thing? I think that was a fun little role play, but I think that's probably just going to be covered under session XP. It wasn't like an extremely high difficulty or like an extremely long roleplay segment or anything. It's a good thought, but I think that falls under session XP. That's part of the reason why I do session XP, so that way we don't have to try and like micromanage every little thing that happened. We just assume that throughout the playing of the session, people did things that contributed to the role playing and the encounters and whatnot. Why, hello there. How are you, sir? Okay. Nothing else is jumping out at me without anybody else speaking up. When I review the video tomorrow, when I go to post it and I go through to timestamp things, I might potentially come across, you know, one or two more things that warrant bonus XP. So I'll keep an eye out for that. Also, sessions. Our next session is planned to be Saturday the 14th. So not the Saturday this weekend, but Saturday the next weekend. And our plan is, starting last session, which will have been 3 weeks before the upcoming one, to start kind of narrowing in and aiming more for 2 sessions per month. So obviously with the holidays on the medium term horizon, we'll see once we get into American Thanksgivings and then, you know, Christmas season and whatnot. There may be a short interruption to that, but at least from late September through late November, we're hoping to get like somewhere between 4 and 6 sessions in there. So I'm really excited about that. Very excited that our players have committed to it. It's going to be a lot of work to get all those session videos done, and of course to stay on top of the character backstories and all that we're working on. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I think that consistency will help us, just all of us, as we continue to improve as DMs and players and whatnot. Made some popcorn as a small, healthy-ish snack. Yeah, popcorn itself is, you know, really not bad as far as dietary impact. Obviously, it depends on what you do to it. If you put 1,000 calories of butter on it and a whole shaker of salt, that does up the ante a little bit. Tiny bit of butter and a wee bit of salt. Yeah. All right. I also need to message our group. This is one of my to-dos. This will be very short, but I didn't want to forget about it on the stream. That the bowl you're having has like 45 kilocalories. That's not bad at all. All right, now I need to grab a couple of books. Oh yeah, although those books are closer, I've decided to start keeping my commonly used books closer to the computer, especially as we're increasing the frequency of our D&D sessions, and we do our, you know, these streams weekly. I need them more and more often, so all I have to do is grab my little. There's no reason that I can't show this. Oh dear. Except for the cord. Rip. Well, whatever. Not going to be a pretty angle. But I have this really cool little angled, just this little bookshelf. It's like probably only 18 inches across with the 2 shelves, but it works really, really well for holding D&D books. And then those Tupperwares have miniatures in them for playing physical D&D. And then those are leather dice rolling mats that CPO Mendez gave us. Sorry, no, that wasn't the most photogenic way to do that, but the cord was caught on something. All right, so we need to start thinking about some quest rewards. Now, one thing that I need to decide on is, excuse me, I'm not doing that on camera ideally, is whether I want to consider the adventure that was completed during last session as its own adventure for rewards, or whether everything kind of ties into the larger... essentially, we added a part 2 that will happen over sessions 12 and maybe 13, depending on how things go. So do we want to give one, like, potentially bigger reward for the collective completion of that whole kind of mini arc? Or do we want to kind of pay them for each individual thing that they were distributed to do? That's what I'm mulling over. While I'm thinking about that, let's grab the old handy player's handbook and see how valuable was the thing that we gave Alendite in session 10. I don't actually remember. I don't think it's crazy, but that does kind of play into rewards a little bit when tracking kind of general wealth, growth in general wealth. Shiny? Oh, yeah. Yeah, these books are beautiful. They're, you know, done up to look like an actual tome, and then this one has that, like, shiny treatment to make the metal parts look shiny. It was an anniversary edition or something like that. And they did all 3 of the core rule books with this treatment. So the player's handbook, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hold all of them up. Hold on. See if I can fan these a little bit. Oh, they're large and heavy. There we go. The blue one is the Dungeon Masters Guide. The red one is the Monster Manual. And then the brown one was the one I had, is the Player's Handbook. Very pretty set of books. What did you get that was valuable? What do you think? In session 10? Bruh. Thank you, Kale. All right. Okay. That has a value low enough that I'm okay with kind of just considering that separate from the overall quest rewards. That was a like an individual character role-playing reward. And if it was worth like hundreds and hundreds of gold, then I would have wanted to kind of consider that in general wealth growth. But I think at a value of 75, that's not going to have a significant impact on power level or anything. Kale equals rocket. Indeed it does. Okay, I'm going to be really vague here. Let's workshop this. We have a couple of our players here, a couple people that have fairly low exposure to the campaign, and then I think a couple people who've been around who have, you know, a fair amount of viewership exposure to the campaign. I'm not going to say who or what, but when considering rewards, like I said, I'm debating between essentially 2 smaller payments or kind of combining them together to having one slightly larger impact. What do you guys think sounds more interesting for the characters and for the world, just for the experience of D&D, between having the party get, 1 to 2 rewards that of a modest value that they can use on an ongoing basis, like money or weapons or that whatever, that kind of thing, like relatively trinkety type stuff, or having the majority, not all, but having the majority of a larger reward that primarily impacts one player or one character, but would be really cool and would potentially have like world implications. Personally, I lean a little bit more towards the second, but obviously you do also want to consider kind of like player emotions, even when you're talking about things that involve characters. Depends on how much drama you want to create, right? Rocket depends on if it's for me. I guess the second one sounds good. Okay. I do think it's more interesting. That's the way I'm leaning, but I'm open to other thoughts from people. In the meantime, let me grab another book that's relevant to what I'm thinking about so I can get an estimated value. I want to see how badly we're going to potentially break things here. Normally when I go grab a book, I come back and hold it up because I have so many of the books that I love to share them and show them around. But I'm not going to show which one I have right now because that would kind of give away the secret. Well, not, I don't know. Secret's probably overstating it a little bit, but I'd rather have it come up during session. Hello, Lily. Okay, I think I want page 14. Oh god. I guess though it's kind of a non-liquid asset. So maybe the value isn't quite as important. Oh, that's kind of fun. There's some modifiers. I'm only vaguely familiar with this book that I'm looking at, so I'm not gonna like read through the whole thing right now, but I do want to get a general idea. Okay, size estimates. Here we go. You know, this has been asked, but can a gnome or a halfling ride with you on a ride? No, technically, 2 gnomes or a halfling, like 2 small creatures, could live, or could ride, sorry, together, but a small and a medium could not. Oh, that's really cool. There's a relevant feat. I had no idea. Wait, what? Holy heck. Holy heck. Okay. I'm gonna need to divide like all of that by 10 or more. That's okay. We can modify this. We can modify this. Wait. Okay, I might be jumping the gun a little bit because I was excited about the idea. This might be a better reward for the completion of the larger story arc. I think that would be more fitting. And then I wouldn't have to dumb it down so much. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. But I think I super appreciate everybody's feedback, but I think looking at the impact of it, like mechanically on the game, it makes sense as a major story arc reward. You did. Hello there. How are you doing, Amy? Forgot about the sidecar. Right? We're working on quest rewards a little bit here. Well, I don't know. I hate to call it quest because that summons video game imagery, but whatever. We're working on rewards for our D&D party right now, and we were kind of leaning towards one. Instead of having a couple of smaller rewards along the way for a couple of tasks that they're completing, we were kind of talking about maybe having one larger reward that has a little bit of like world impact. But I think the idea that I had in mind when I asked chat to weigh in on that as a potential reward option, I think fits better as the reward for kind of like the completion of the first major arc of the campaign. Okay, that's written down. So now so that helps for the future, and that actually gives me a good goal that I'm excited for to keep driving the story towards. So I think that'll be really neat. It does, however, not solve the problem of what we give the party for the work that they did during last session and that we're presuming they're going to do during sessions 12 and possibly 13. Right, Krez? Now you know one additional step further of when I say I'm so sorry. I have so many names for so many people. I do my best to remember all of them. It's Twitch, or sometimes even two names on Twitch, because a few people do have multiple accounts. Then it's YouTube names, then it's Discord names, then it's also potentially their in-game character names. And sometimes multiple character names spread across multiple games. Ugh. Sometimes also their personal name. Yeah, good point. Good point. Okay. So I'm really glad that we kind of like talked through that. When we come back from break, I was about to start like musing on rewards again. But also then I saw that it was 11 seconds from break time. So I think we just go ahead and take the break on time. I know. Mind blowing. And then we come back, and we've got another half an hour, so probably like 10 minutes for to wrap up our quest reward project, and then 15 or 20 minutes to make our next gnomish contraption. Booze, give them booze. Then have an entire session of everyone role playing as drunks. Why role play when we could just have the players get drunk and then play? No, I'm just kidding. That would be really funny to do sometime, though. All right. Yeah. So 5-minute break. If you haven't been up off your booty in a little while, I recommend move around, stretch your legs, get some water. I'll be back in 5 minutes, and think of some ideas while I'm gone of some potential gnomish contraptions that we might make, because that's what we're gonna do for the end, like the little part of the stream. Rocket, we should. Maybe we'll do that for New Year's Eve. Maybe we do like a one shot or something. All right. I'll be back in oh wait, I gotta change the overlay. Just kidding. There we go. Back in 5. Oh my god, that's so good. That's like a great idea for like the name of a series, right? Like some sort of a pun on like one shot, but they're drinking series. Like it's a more than one shot. Or, oh man, yeah, we gotta think on that. That's wonderful. All right, I'll be back in a few. Also, I need a haircut real bad. Sorry about that. Of course, while I was gone, I also got a phone call, but I suppose that's better than while I'm sitting here. I think it was only an extra 5-ish minutes, but still apologies. Right? I do what I can. Hello, RRRRR. You made it in time for the chair stream, indeed. RR's working. What are we working on? Home now? Welcome home, Lily. You've had experience GMing at a table of drunk players at a con. It can be perilous. Oh, I bet. I bet. Testing some code. All right. Right. So we want to put the lid on quest rewards. So I need to get the whole other idea that we had out of my head, because that's not going to be a thing for several more months, probably. Precisely, Michael. I'm glad somebody gets me finally. Oh yeah, also our reminders for anybody tuning in, if you haven't thumbed up yet, if you could please, that's super helpful. And also don't forget to put your chat on live chat instead of top chat, because top chat's garbage. Although really we know I'd be a sorcerer because they're better. They just don't use that term in Lord of the Rings. What did I do with my drink? Sorcerer absolutely is better than wizard. Hold on, I gotta grab my drink. Sorry, I would have just left it, but it's soda with ice in it. And it would just be all diluted and gross if I didn't go get it. They're good at different things. Yeah, a sorcerer is good all of the time. And a wizard is good some of the time. All right, to revisit that thought. So, get the whole other reward thing out of my head. Do I want to do one larger reward for the completion of the overall thing? No, I think because it was 2 separate tasks, I think it should be 2 separate rewards. Also, because of the way that we left off, the second task was given without a writ. So it would be, yeah, it makes more sense. Okay. Because the writ, essentially, they were promised would be written after the fact, would be produced after the fact, is probably a better, less repetitious way to say that. Should be in bed, appointment tomorrow, but you caught a second wind pretty much right before I got on. Ah, shoot. I'm sorry, Krez, but I'm glad you're here. Let's double check the values of our other... Because for right now, since they're doing work for the militia is paying them, you know, more or less the same for each thing, depending a little bit on difficulty level. But whatever is going on up here, driving me crazy. Can't leave it alone. All right. That's about what I thought. Are there trinkets that we could be giving out that would be meaningful versus only cash? Yeah, I need a haircut. I since the pandemic, slash also partly as a way to save money, I get a professional haircut once every few months, and then I maintain it myself for a while, and usually I'm able to keep it up for a bit, but we've gone a little bit too long here, and obviously the back slash around the cowlick is the hardest part to do, and it's out of control right now. I need to get into a pro. Think I'll do a wee bit of EQ. Nice. Pixie and I are going to play a little bit tonight also. Hair beads. We should give them the comb that we came up with. No, wait, we already did that. The comb that had actual teeth for teeth. I think that was Nun's suggestion. Yes, Krez, like 3 or so hours from now. Alcohol would be funny, especially because the party spent a bunch of time asking about alcohol last session. But like, what would they give them? Oh God, a barrel of just like, oh wait, barrel empty. Okay, never mind. I was like, there's no way that's only 2 gold. What in the... Yeah, that's because it's not. Oh, you know what? A barrel of the Elven Ale. Just commandeer it from that guy. Hello, McNick. How you doing? Alendite should absolutely get some clothes. He should get some clothes for his new position. Did we watch the finale? I did. No spoilers, obviously, but what did you guys think? I know you and Amras watched it together. So we have a... How do you actually say this word? 'Cause it's spelled like courtier, but obviously it's like French or whatever, so that's not even close. Is it like a courtier or something like that? This outfit includes fancy tailored clothes in whatever fashion happens to be the current style in the courts of the nobles. Anyone trying to influence nobles or courtiers while wearing street dress will have a hard time of it. A -2 penalty on charisma-based skill checks to influence such individuals. What? Well, too late to retcon that, but that would have affected things last session. If you wear this outfit without jewelry, which costs an additional 50 gold, you look like an out-of-place commoner. That's hilarious. Okay, what about this next one? This set of clothes is designed specifically to be expensive and to show it. Precious metals and gems are worked into the clothing to fit into the noble crowd. Every would-be noble also needs a signet ring, see adventuring gear above, and jewelry worth at least 100 gold. I've never read the descriptions of these. What a weird place to bury that rule about trying to influence nobles. It's literally in the description of courtier's clothing. You would never look for that there. Really interesting. Fairy Fireball, right? You're so happy that... sort of, right? I mean, the whole wills thing is is a whole different bag. That's really funny. So if we gave Alan Dite, I'm just gonna keep mispronouncing it for now, and then I'll look, because I don't know how to read the thing that Rocket posted either. If we gave Alan Dite the Corsair's outfit, then he'd still have to buy the jewelry. That's like you know, those like Christmas presents or whatever, even like Father's Day presents, like where somebody gives you like a, I mean, and some people legitimately have a green thumb and like plants, right? Like somebody gives you like a plant or like a pet or something like that. Like they give you like a fish, and it's like, oh, awesome, thank you for giving me chores. Courtier, is that actually right though? Because that looks like it would be an Anglicization of what seems to be a French word. You'd think they'd provide the whole fit if it's for his new position. Well, yes, but here's the thing. That would be like all of your reward money. Well, but it could also be both, right? Gray Fox, just like how coif and quaff are both technically correct when talking about the armor. Even though quaff is actually the original pronunciation. Oh, for sure, McNick. Yeah, that's on purpose, for sure. But the tithe is to the church, and the position that he was just granted is extra religious. It's not part of church duties. Oh yeah, that it's called corpse art, Krez. Some people do that. I mean, I doubt that, McNick. I doubt that. I know what we can do. Because the other thing, right, is Capstone is a frontier town. And there's not a lot of opulence there. That's kind of the whole point, right? So what if we give him the clothes and then they essentially order the jewelry, and then it has to get like shipped in, and then that way the jewelry can be part of a future reward, and then we can split it up. I think that's a way to handle that, like in world, that makes sense. Also, the honor guard itself was kind of a reward, right? So they're not getting like a huge payment for that one. The bigger payment will be for the secondary quest that they picked up. You'd be okay having to travel to another location for the other armor or regalia. So in general, I love that idea as a way to kick off like a little bit of a role-playing quest, so to speak. But it seems like that would be just such a huge departure from like everything else that we've set up that's going on. And it would take, you know, potentially take a couple sessions just to do that. It's the kind of thing, if we were, you know, if we were putting 20 to 40 hours a month on the table, then I totally would. But it's just, I don't think it makes sense right now. This song has definitely a Super Mario vibe, yeah. So they were probably going to get like half normal rewards. Oh, this works out actually. Because like I said, because the escort in and of itself kind of was the reward. So if we do that, that adds up. Yeah. Okay. And then there will be a bigger reward, like I said, for part 2. All right, so last thing then, let's make another gnomish contraption. That's been a fun little side project for us. Also, Foxy, how was your day at work? Now that you've gotten your office space, so to speak, sorted out, hopefully a bit more pleasant on the physical side of things. So first things first, which contraptions have we done now, right? We did the goblin grappling hook and the, what did we end up calling them? Not just like thieves' gloves. We came up with a different name for it. Pickpockets gloves, that was it. Or no, scoundrels gloves. Pickpockets gloves was what we were kicking around, but we ended up going with scoundrels. Sorry. I need to rename that file. It is for sleight of hand, but we wanted a word that sounded a little bit more generic. Because, like, sleight of hand is the skill that you would use to pickpocket, but you also use it for other things. Yeah. We need hair extensions or trinkets. So, for anybody who hasn't seen it, let me open OBS on this computer real fast. You can see the other 2 trinkets that we've designed so far. Do a little organizing. That and that go into that folder. Yo, Mendez makes it to an afternoon stream. Good to see you. How you doing, sir? Locator goggles that increase spot check. See, that kind of thing's really hard though. Because like spot is such a broadly applicable skill. And also like how does the item actually make you see better? You know? So hold on, come over here really fast. Quick, endless stream. Whee. So these are our existing ones. Oh. Pixie's not here, unfortunately. So we had the goblin grappling hook, which was the first one that I made. I still need a different picture for it. But that's a start. And then last time we made the scoundrel's gloves, which were suggested by None Such Being. So with that being said, let me grab the book and we can see what else, what other skills still need tools. I'll explain, I guess, why we're doing what we're doing for anybody that hasn't been here when we've worked on this before. But the short version is they describe a couple of specific tools, like the disguise kit, the climber's kit, the healer's kit, and whatnot, thieves tools, a few of those. And then they just say, and then masterwork tool. This well-made item is the perfect tool for the job. It grants a +2 circumstance bonus on related skill checks. So they just kind of do that generically for all the remaining tools that they didn't describe. So we thought it would be fun to design some more of them ourselves. So instead of just like tool, masterwork, you know, like now we have the scoundrel's gloves and, you know, etc. Defibrillator. You want a HUD. In glasses, that would actually be hilarious. Like a HUD to keep, oh my god, like wizard's goggles where you have to like scratch the glass to keep track of your spell slots or something like that. And then you periodically have to get new glass. You know, and it could be made out of like a cheap crystal or whatever. It doesn't have to be like a super expensive glass, but something like that could actually be kind of fun. I want to try and finish the masterwork tools first before we get off onto that sort of thing, but I do love that as an idea. That's really fun. Also, thanks for coming and sharing your lunch with us. Yeah, that's really fun. Mendez could totally invent something. Or, well, Mendez also, but Rubato could totally invent something like that. Where... Oh god, what is happening? What is happening? This is the stack of sheets that should have NPC character sheets in it. There we go. You don't know if Rubato can? Why not? All right, so what are some tools that we do have or that we could make? So like appraise, I think there is already a tool for. Well, sort of. There's the merchant's scale, but obviously that only helps with weighing things. But there's also a magnifying glass. Okay, so I think between the scale and the magnifying glass, appraise is taken care of. Balance would be really hard. Springing boost +2 to jump check. So that kind of thing is usually more of a magical item. But I'm willing to consider it. Especially for things like balance. No, because it'd have to be like sticky or something, right? So that would probably also be magical. But there is like climb. Obviously, we have climbing kits. Concentration. Decipher script. Oh, it'll be way better even at 4, Krez. But yeah, absolutely. Diplomacy. Ooh, that's a fun one. Get your brains going, guys. What would be an item or tool that we could invent that could make you more successful at being diplomatic? That's an interesting thought. Disable device, disguise. There's already a thing for. Escape artist, forgery. I think there's already a forger's kit or some such thing. Climbing shoes, bonus climbing, but subtract from mobility. So there actually is already a climber's kit. Like that's already... So we could design additional things, but for now I'm trying to avoid like stuff that is somewhat not duplicitous, but some that duplicates, whatever. I can't think of the right conjugation. A pocket watch. I mean, that definitely makes you look more like high class, but I don't know if that just screams like good at diplomacy. About a medal of diplomacy? Oh, so essentially you're like an honored diplomat? I'm willing to consider it. I want to keep spitballing ideas at me, but that's an interesting thought. Gather information. I feel like the masterwork tool that helps with gather information is just money. It's just bribing people. Handle animal heal. There's already a thing for hide. Hide, something that like camouflages. Is there already a tool that does something like that? Thieves tools. Instruments. Holy symbols. Alchemist kit. So, like, camouflage is kind of hard, though, right? Because if we're not going with a magical item that can adapt to any environment, then we essentially have to have environmental camouflage. It feels a little Skyrim, Gray Fox, but I do kind of like it. Bucket of sand, bury your head in it. Nobody can see you. Some kind of jewelry. Like, like, signet rings already exist, right? But it almost feels like they should give you a bonus to diplomacy. Intimidate, jump, listen, move silently. Open lock, there's already obviously tools for. Perform, profession. Ride already has saddles. Search, sense motive. There isn't really a tool that would help with that. Sleight of hand we already did. Spellcraft spot. Survival. Swim. Oh my god. We could totally make like flippers or something. You agree? I'm sure you do. An ear trumpet? Yeah, I was thinking that too. So the thing that's really difficult is spot and listen already, you have the ability to like focus your attention. So like when you make a spot check, say for being on watch, that is for essentially being holistically aware and like looking everywhere. You can choose like I watch like this quadrant. And then you get a +2 bonus on that already. But then obviously I don't remember if you just can't make checks at all in the other 3 quadrants, or if it's a penalty or what. I'd have to look at it. But so it's something like, essentially like inventing binoculars to help you with spot. Like that's kind of just already a thing. Like you can already just focus your attention in an area and get that bonus. And so kind of same thing with ear trumpet is kind of my hang up there. So here's my 2 ideas, and they're both kind of similar. I'm also happy to see what Gray Fox or anybody else has any for last minute suggestions. But what about so they're both going to have to be regional items. So we won't be able to make like a holistic item, but it'll just be like, we'll have to put like a note that says like region appropriate or whatever. But it's either the camouflage thing or taking the concept of like a farmer's almanac type thing, right? Which generally had like weather predictions and like information about local animals and that kind of stuff, and kind of like expanded that idea to be essentially like a notebook, just on like a local guidebook, like almost the kind of thing that you'd get from like a park ranger or whatever, and have that give bonus. What is this song also? And have that give bonuses on survival checks, because survival checks, that's how you predict the weather, that's how you track animals, that's how you those are the 2 main ones that jump out at me, but that's how you do all that kind of thing. Adding the colors of the chat was a massive improvement. Oh yeah, huge quality of life improvement. A pendulum of persuasion, like hypnotizing somebody. Yeah, so it could help with, so that's also the tough part, right? Is there's a lot of overlap between knowledge local and survival. But knowledge local is more of like, I know about local legends, and like I know about, you know, like the influential families of the area, and like I know where, you know, that the bears go and hibernate in these caves during the winter and that kind of thing. Whereas survival is more of like the living world. Yeah, exactly. Local lore is a great way to think of it. I like the book. I really like the Pendulum of Persuasion. That feels like a magic item, but I like that. It's fun. It's great alliteration. It's a great idea for an item. It could be a relatively inexpensive magic item. I really like that. So I'm totally gonna write that down. But it feels like a magic item, not just a trinket. You also want the pendulum. You're gonna want all of these things that we come up with, right? If I closed my to-do list on accident. Yeah, no, that's great, Fox. Thank you. Pendulum of... Okay. Yeah, we've had some great... I think we've done fine as far as the shorter term, smaller scale things that I wanted to get done today, but we've had a couple of really great ideas for like slightly longer term, slightly more impactful things. So there was also the other quest reward that I came up with while we were talking earlier. Oh, that's awesome, Fox. Heck yeah. I mean, obviously, hopefully we're not just like reusing all of the same ideas for each other's projects, but I think the inspiration is great. So let's look for a picture then. I know my timer's up, but when did we ever end one of these actually on time? And also, like, I took like 5 minutes longer during break than I meant to, and a couple other things, so... Oh, nice. So we just want like a book, essentially, right? But we want like, how am I going to describe this to my stock photo place? We want like a leather bound book. It's better. I can't show these until I acquire a license for them, so I can't show you as I look through the list of things. But once we find one, and I get the license for it, then I totally can. Oh, that one's really cool, but it's a little too ornate for what we'd have here. Those are cool. Can be the NPC who sells all your random trinkets. Yes. Fox's Trinkets and Treasures. Trinkets and Treasures is great. Ooh, here we go. This is kind of what I wanted. Okay, I found a few. That looks a little bit too much, like, because it's double columned. It looks kind of like a Bible. I think we want this one. Fantastic Finds is also very good. Yeah, this still isn't exactly what I wanted, but it's close enough. That's good too, she says. Fripperies? Is that a word? Okay. This is going to be really fast to make. Honestly, the way longer part is just coming up with the idea. So what should we call this? Like just survival notebook's a little too on the nose, I think, right? Survival guide, like local weather, fauna, flora, and weather. Farmer's Almanac just feels too like we know that word from the real world. Billy's Survival Guide to the Wilderness. Wilderness Survival Guide's not bad. But it's not only for the wilderness. I mean, like theoretically some people even in town or on homesteads would potentially have it. Yeah, we want the title for a book that's kind of like a mix between a farmer's almanac and a survival guide. For now, working title, I'm going to put Wilderness Survival Guide. But let's try and workshop that a little more if we can. Delete those. Not as much as I love alliteration, not everything has to be alliterative, you guys. Living off the land, generic boring name. Sometimes I do, if you get a name, even if it is boring, sometimes a good descriptive name, even if it is a little boring, sometimes is the best. But I want to see if we can spice it up a little bit. Capstone Chronicles is very good, but I want this to be a general thing, so you could go and like buy, you know, like we're in the north, we go buy the Wilderness Survival Guide, like for the wet, you know, winter area. We're in the south, we buy the Wilderness Survival Guide that like tells us all about like seafaring and like surviving in hot weather. Had to alliterate? Oh, for sure. No, you're good, Krez. Farming, is it for you? Northern Notes is also very good. Could have one name per place. Yes, so maybe next Working Wednesday stream we come up with names for these local books. That could be a fun little thing to do. But for now, we need to actually like name the type of book. Outside for Dummies. All right, we're coming up on 90 minutes, which is kind of like our hard stop time. So Survivalist Local Guide. So far, I'm still just liking Wilderness Survival Guide the best out of what we've bandied around. Bananas for banana. Although you forgot your umlauts, but... So this is going to be the D&D items. Wilderness Survival Guide. Oop, guide. Okay. Encyclopedia Rintanica. Oh my god, it's so good. RRY. Like, I don't want to use it, but I really want to use it. Yes, that is also a little more all of the things, but that's really wonderful.
Oh, that's so good.
I love that somebody went out of their way to do that. Thank you. Somebody went to Twitch to do that. By the way. Okay. I got my book downloaded, so now you guys can see it, because now I have a license for it. Thrive Outside. That's kind of nice. I feel like it's a little new agey, like self-help sounding, but I do like it. The rhyme but not alliteration is very good. Okay, now we can go over here. So I took 2 angles of the book. Oh god. Don't do that. It's also really big. She said. Better. There we go. A new age hippie and Rin who writes these books. Wait, that's the same one I already did. Oh. Apparently I just took the same angle twice. Nice. Nailed it. Okay. Deleting the other one. That looks a lot like Amras's real life book. Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that. So then we've got our Wilderness Survival Guide. Okay, it still fits. I feel like that's just ever so slightly not centered, though. Am I crazy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, I can undo. Yep, it did move just a teeny bit. It wasn't centered. All right, now we need to grab the filters that we use. You know what I should have done? Yeah, fine. We'll do this instead. So this way it'll apply the filters right away. Go to this and let's go. I should be able to relink it, right, to a different file. Maybe not. Dang it. Okay, fine. We'll redo the filters ourselves. So this is a 1 pixel stroke on center of this color. 1 pixel wide on center stroke of this color. Oh god. Why? It put a shadow on it. Oh, why are you the way that you are? Select the subject. Hopefully that will... Yay! Okay. That grabbed it without the... grabbed it without the shadow. I feel like that's way too high. It's not... Oh, right. I see. Yeah. Because that was centering it versus balancing the void space. All right. Now, theoretically, when we add a stroke to it, now it shouldn't do that. Okay, good. Much better. And then we're using that stroke just to give it a little bit of a hard edge. Just to help define it a little bit more. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Mendez. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day. And then pattern overlay. We'll see. Can I get it now? Will it copy the pattern overlay too?
So we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
That actually helps. It just kind of lightens the whole thing up a little bit, in addition to also making it look not quite so new. I actually like that newer, lighter color better. I didn't realize how dark it was before. Right, Gray Fox? Amras. All right. Well, clearly these are not gloves, so we want to say something like. Hold on. Get that out of the way. Get that out of the way. Reopen the scoundrel's gloves so we can see the description. If your Patreon level happened to increase, could you be an NPC with your shop of cool oddities? I'm willing to consider it. It's funny that you say that because a lot of D&D Online actually is Patreon supported and people do things like that. We don't currently have tiers set up that do that, but I'm willing to consider it / kind of talk it through with you a little bit. Yeah, for sure. Remind me about it in a Discord DM at some point here, and we can like schedule and then I'll take a little bit of time to think about it, and then we can like schedule a call and kind of talk through what that might potentially look like. All right, these gloves provide the perfect balance between stability and mobility. So we want to say something like this book includes all of the basic. No, includes information about the local. Can I fit local up there? Sort of. About the local flora, fauna, weather, and any noteworthy All right, what do we think about that? Just for a quick description, this book includes information about the local flora, fauna, weather, and noteworthy landmarks. Maybe take out any. Includes. I think we want to say like includes all readily available, so it's a little bit more clear. All, because it's not a fix-all, right? I don't want it doesn't have everything ever. It's not just like a cheat. All readily available information about local flora, fauna, weather, and landmarks. Noteworthy landmarks. That's better, I think. This book includes all readily available information about local flora, fauna, weather, and or like weather patterns, probably. Weather patterns and noteworthy landmarks. Just don't allow Ken into it. He's an agent of chaos. Ken could be the shop cat. Rather probably wolf dog, knowing him. You just want to weapon shop and you do smithing and enchanting. What enchantment you get depends on what money you give me. It's just RNG. So I think this kind of thing, it's not something you're really going to use in combat, right? So it's going to be something where they need to spend some time with it. How fast do you read? I forget. I think you read. Oh, we've looked this up before. I think you read like a page a minute or something like that. Take a few minutes. Spending 10. Spending 10 minutes. Searching and reading the book will provide. No, will grant, right? That's the word. We're trying to stay as close to the book wording as possible. We can even just say grants. A +2 circumstance bonus on survival checks in the area. Well, how do we want to say, like, in the area where the book was produced? In the region covered by the book, in the... Sag Rocket. But also, you've got a little bit of time, right? Because we've got a few minutes to finish this up, and then I need to make the thumbnails, the thumbnail for it, and then upload the other one, and, you know... Maybe you can finish one more fight or something, and then maybe you'll feel different. Spending 10 minutes. Hey, none. The Wilderness Survival Guide. Also, welcome back. I hope you had a good dinner. This book includes all readily available information about local flora, fauna, weather patterns, and noteworthy landmarks. Spending 10 minutes searching and reading the book grants a +2 circumstance bonus on survival checks. I'm trying to think how to word this. Like, in the area is a little bit vague. I want to say, like, in the region where the book was produced or something. It's not a contraption. No, I know. We're trying to avoid duplicates. And all the ideas that we were having were all duplicate ideas. So we want to make things that like that fill the gap of masterwork tools, which I'm broadly calling gnomish contraptions. You drank a half a gallon today? I'm assuming you mean of water. +2 circumstance bonus on survival checks. Spending 10 minutes searching and reading the book grants a +2 circumstance bonus on survival checks in the area. I don't know why I'm having such a mental block here, other than the fact that we've been on longer than I intended to be. That's probably part of it. Ooh, nice. Enjoy. So yeah, the goal is to end up with a +2 item for pretty much every skill that it makes sense to have one. And then what we might, what we'll do is probably circle back and create some more things that are a little bit more like contraption-ish, and you know, even if they do have a little bit of overlap. Bonus on survival checks for a particular region. Thank you. Spending 10 minutes searching and reading the book grants +2 circumstance bonus on survival checks. Well, but actually, now that I think about it, that's still a little bit undefined, right? Because, like, what region? I want to communicate that you need to buy a different book for each region. Well, no, but like there's already tools for some things, like we were talking about. You know, people were like, oh, what about like climbing boots that make you better at climbing but worse at balancing? And it was like, well, but there's already a climber's kit. And so like that sort of thing. So not duplicates in the specific contraptions, but duplicates in the skills being addressed. So if we say on survival checks in the books region. You lost it? How did you lose it? You mean you spent it? True. You know what? I've got too much of a brain block here. We're way over on time. I'm going to leave it there because that's good enough for us to know what we're talking about. We'll polish this next time. We're 10 minutes over my hard stop time, so next time we'll finish the Wilderness Survival Guide. We will, and then we'll do session 12 prep, right? Because next week will be the 11th, and then we're playing on the 14th. Or someplace you will never see. Why is this yelling at me when I try and save? Or when I try and close, rather. There. Weird. What's up, Michael? All right, so reminders. The session 11, will be posted on YouTube tomorrow before noon my time. It finished exporting on the other computer about an hour. Well, probably about a half an hour ago while we were streaming. So I will upload it tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I'll create the timestamps and the thumbnail, and then it will be live. So for those of you that were waiting to catch up on session 11, or even if you watched it while it was live, if you wouldn't mind giving it a play on YouTube, that watch time and any comments and likes does so much to help us with our channel. You have to ask the characters. You have to ask if the characters that you did the one-shot on exist in this world. Well, I have mixed feelings about that, because the one-shot, that was when we were still kind of testing the waters with whether or not we were going to do D&D, and also some of you have never played before, and so from a narrative standpoint, I really like those characters, and I kind of want them still to exist in the world, but like also you guys got them killed. So, well, I guess it depends on which one-shot, because we did a couple of them. So it depends on which one you're asking about. But either way, my ambivalence kind of stands. So there's a part of me that kind of wants to retcon them out and reuse those characters in another way in the world, especially the undead Duskblade and the archivist that was its friend, because I thought those were really interesting, compelling characters. But it's something that's just kind of backburnered right now. Yeah, those. So at least one, if not all of them, died. I'd have to go back and check my notes. A gnomish contraption that gives a bonus to healing. But like, what would that be in the medieval world? It's not magical, right? Because we're trying to create non-magical. There is already a magical item that does that. It's literally called like the healer's belt. And it has 3 charges per day that can be used to cast a heal spell, and then also just gives a +2 bonus to heal checks. Isn't gnomish stuff usually explosive and traps? I mean, it just depends on which trope you want to lean into. Because nothing says gnomish contraption that sutures. Oh, okay, I see what you're thinking. That's an interesting thought. Obviously, yeah. So that's the kind of thing that's hard for me to not nitpick about, because like, what happens if you fall off a cliff and take falling damage, and then like, how do sutures help? You know, but I do like the idea. Yeah, essentially having like a gnomish doctor who worked with like a gnomish inventor, and they like outsourced healing knowledge into contraptions, so that way like anybody can do it, sort of thing. That's an interesting thought. There could be different ones for different types of injuries, right? Because like, bonus to the healing skill is really, really valuable. So we could kind of like nerf that by making it so you have to get, you know, there's like 5 different ones or whatever. Or like, well, right, because we have what? Lacerations, avulsions. You know, like we could go through all the major wound types. You thought what was Goblin? Oh, for being like explosive and trappy? Yeah, that does tend to be a little more goblish than gnomish, but there's a lot of crossover there. In a lot of ways, goblins are just treated like evil gnomes, right? Depends some on the fantasy, but... All right, this has been a lot of fun, but dang near double the amount of time that it was supposed to be. So we'll come back to it. We will we'll finish the book next time. We'll try and come up with another contraption, and we'll try and lean a little bit more into contraption than like skill book. for the next one, and then we'll do session 12 prep. That's our to-do list for the next Working Wednesday stream, which will be next week. Thank you all so much for being here. For those of you that are playing EverQuest Quorum with us, that hangout and character building event is in Discord tomorrow night at about 6 Pacific, so like 26 hours from now. And then our next stream is Friday. It's supposed to be Valheim, but despite the server operators' assurances that they would get me a backup so we can take over our own server hosting, they still have not done that. So we'll see. Friday may have to be audibled again. / Valheim might just be done, which would be a bummer to have it just end so abruptly, especially when we were so close to finishing most of the things. But it might be out of our control, so we'll see. Thank you guys so much for being here. One more reminder, if you haven't done so yet, don't forget the thumbs up. And if you can, keep an eye out for the session 11 video tomorrow. If you could give it a playthrough, a like, a comment, we would super appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. Happy hump day. And as always, take care and be excellent to each other.